My name is Taina. I lead global product marketing for LinkedIn Ads. And I am here to share something really exciting with you today. As Mel spoke about earlier, we are entering a new era of creativity in B2B. You've seen examples of that on this stage today. B2B brands growing in confidence, experimenting with emotion, pushing themselves out of their comfort zones. And I can tell you, we absolutely love to see it. So now is the time to be bolder, to act braver, to go bigger than ever before. At LinkedIn, we want to capture the energy of this movement, and we want to provide you the colors and the canvases to bring your creative visions to life. B2B is unique, we know. We know that buying cycles are long, and only 5% of in-market buyers are out in the market at any given time. We need to be consistent, we need to be memorable, and we need to engage across multiple channels. We need to connect with our audiences where they are and captivate them in new and exciting ways. What does that mean? We need to try new things. And today, here on the B2Believe stage, in my hometown of New York City, I'm thrilled to announce our exciting new product offering. Introducing LinkedIn Connected TV. Yeah! We see our LinkedIn CTV offering as a natural evolution in our video ads products, a way to drive full funnel performance for you, B2B marketers. We wanted to create a new kind of marketplace that would transform the way our customers buy and sell B2B products. Our first of its kind CTV product gives B2B brands the tools they need to redefine brand narratives, fusing the captive power of big screen storytelling with precision targeting. We're only at the very start of this journey, but our CTV reach already stands at 60 million households and more than 105 million connected devices per month in the US and in Canada. And those numbers are set to grow, because that's not the only thing I'm here to announce today. In addition to LinkedIn CTV, we're also extremely excited to announce that we are partnering with NBCUniversal to launch a new managed offering called LinkedIn Premier. That's us, LinkedIn, the world's largest professional network. We're joining forces with NBCUniversal, one of the world's largest and leading media entertainment companies. And this unique programmatic solution will combine LinkedIn's precise audience data, which you know and you love, with NBCUniversal's premium content offerings, streamed across millions of connected TVs. To talk more about this exciting partnership, I'd like to welcome up on stage NBCUniversal's Executive Vice President of Digital Sales and Partnerships, Trevor Fellows. Thank you for being with us.
It's a pleasure. Really excited.
We're excited too. I hope the crowd is excited too. Yes, they are. Amazing.
I think that's for the sofa, I suspect, right? The color.
That's right.
Yeah.
I want to kick us off on this conversation today and delving a little bit into the evolution of B2B CTV as a product offering. So from your point of view, how have B2B brands historically viewed CTV advertising or TV advertising at large?
I think it's interesting. I mean, I think it's true to say that many have stayed away due to concerns about wastage and effectiveness. I think there's a much bigger story, though, which is really around the transformation of the TV industry as a whole these past few years, and how you've seen the consumer advertising business completely changed by the advent of CTV, and particularly and importantly, ad-supported CTV. We talk a lot about the golden age of television, and we think about it a lot from the perspective of the viewer. But actually, it's become a golden age of television from the advertising point of view, too. You're able to target effectively in a way that you were never able to do. You're able to measure effectively. And I think there's work in progress on this. You're able to create many more executions much more cost effectively than you were ever doing before. So at NBCU, and I think it's shared by many of our competitors, we're seeing literally hundreds of new advertisers come in every year who are no longer having to sort of weigh the scale versus the wastage, the price versus precision, who are able to actually, without sounding glib, have it all. And I think that's really interesting. And the conversations we're having with B2B clients now are seeing that. They know that their audiences have changed. I think one of the big positives across the past few years, just how much more diverse the C-suite and business decision makers have come. And consequently, the content that they're engaging with, the content they're enjoying is very different to what it was. So the old idea of a B2B focused media plan has changed. And you're able to use TV to do that. And let's face it, TV has always been the most effective, the most powerful, the most impactful, the most memorable medium. Very few people ever talked about a display ad or a print ad with their friends, right? But people talk about TV ads all the time. We remember them. So yeah, it's coming. It's really exciting.
I love that. So for the folks in the room, I'm 20-year B2B marketer veteran. It's part of the reason that I took this job at LinkedIn. I can tell you in all of those years, I never once assumed or hoped to have the ability to do an ad on TV. I'd love to understand how you think about where we've come in the last 20 years in B2B.
I think it's really interesting that, because you've seen, I think, the elite, the largest B2B clients engage with television. But think about this as really the democratization of advertising and the ability for even small clients to appear in amazing content. We announced last week, 10 days ago at our 124 conference, for example, that we're going to be opening up our Olympic coverage this summer to programmatic advertisers. That means that literally anybody can advertise in the Olympics going forward. You go back 12, 16, 20 years, that was unheard of. And the power that brings to marketers, the ability for someone like you in your job to tell complex stories using sound and vision is just, I think, really, really exciting.
And a dream.
And a dream.
Come true.
Yeah.
So we're in a room full of marketers.
Yep.
So many things have changed in marketing over the years. New tools, new trends, but the fundamentals remain the same. Reaching the right audience at the right time in the right environment. Many marketers still buy media based on publishers' content. And I wonder, how do you think this environment gets impacted in relationship to reaching the right audiences today?
I'm going to say something slightly controversial. I think that people think about environment in the wrong way in many cases. They don't think about it enough, and they think about it in the wrong way. But let me try and explain that. We believe very strongly that audiences are the most important thing. Again, we talked about the diversity of audiences and where you find them. You know, traditionally, TV was bought and traded on the basis of popularity of programs. Yep. That doesn't make a great deal of sense, I think, when you have such a wide array of content for a consumer to choose from. But, and this is where environment is incredibly important, the advertising environment that you're in is critical. We're big believers in what we describe as the pristine ad environment. Peacock, for example, is adamant that we have less than a 5-minute ad load. We are very respectful of the consumer. You know, we rely on that consumer to drive the subscriptions. We rely on that to drive the 105 million uniques we have on Peacock every month. And we know that frequency of advertising is really important to them. Reducing the ad load even further as they spend more and more time with content, and ad innovations like our spotlight units or our pause units are incredibly important to them. So what we would say to the marketer is, think less about picking programs, right? And recognize that your audience may not enjoy the same programs you do. There's nothing wrong with that, but really do think about the ad environment you're in. Low ad loads matter. And one of the things I think we should all be slightly horrified by is some of the reports we see continuing about the made-for-advertising sites. And CTV is not immune to that entirely. So really important to think about that environment.
I love that. What about personalization?
I think that gets interesting. I think the better you know your audience, and LinkedIn obviously knows the audience really well, the cleverer you can be in the personalization of the creative. And I think that's one of the big things, again, we would encourage marketers to do, is to experiment, right? You've got different audiences. If you're targeting IT decision makers, for example, you've got different ranges of influence on that decision. You've got people with different considerations. Think about different creatives as you target those.
I love that.
Really, really important.
So maybe a little bit more about creativity.
Yep.
We've talked about it a lot today. I was in Cannes last year, and it was all we could talk about related to B2B. So CTV promises the power of big screen storytelling.
It does.
For B2B brands. What advice do you have for B2B brands looking to invest in CTV campaigns? Maybe like for baby me for the first time.
I think, firstly, be bold. And it's easy to sit on stage and say be bold, but I think it's important because I think we are at a pivotal moment. I was walking from my office down here an hour ago, and I walked past the bar where I first saw an iPhone back in 2007. And we were at a pivotal moment then when a lot of marketers were starting to ask, should we be building mobile ads, for example? And it wasn't, by the way, a slam dunk back then that they should. It took many marketers years to get there. I think we're now at that stage with television, with CTV particularly. I think marketers should really be thinking about a video-first strategy. And that should really imbue everything they do, from the briefs they're giving to their ad agencies to the content they capture at events. How can this be utilized? It may only be utilized to target a few hundred or a few thousand people. But firstly, think video first. And then secondly, the advice we'd give would be, think also about the fact that these don't need to be big, expensive productions. You don't need to fly to Costa Rica or South Africa to shoot it with 30 people. Animation and AI allow enormous creativity at low cost and allow experimentation. So I think we would argue that everyone should unlock their brands in a creativity. And one of the things that, again, strikes us every time you talk to a CEO, he or she would tell you that their company is not fully understood, that if only their customers understood this or their stakeholders understood that, well, that's exactly what sound and vision can help you do, can help you drive.
Yeah, I love that. Raise your hand if you're video first right now. Take notes.
So we've got room, right? We've got room to grow.
Okay, so rounding it out, LinkedIn Premier and NBCUniversal are combining the power of LinkedIn's audience data with NBCU's premium content. How do you think this is going to change the game for us B2B marketers?
I'm going to use the same word, democratization, again. I think this allows marketers to be in the very best content in a way they haven't been allowed to before. I think it allows to tell better, deeper stories. I think it allows to the experimentation as to the way that different segments of audience react with different creativity. And one of the things we're most excited about linking with LinkedIn, purely apart from the fact that we both have put a lot of time and effort into making sure the pipes work and making sure that we have high match rates, is again the fact that this actually works very well within your ecosystem. Yep. You can make sure that ads that have been exposed to somebody on Peacock are then retargeted within LinkedIn. So I think this becomes a, if you will, a holistic operation, a holistic opportunity for clients.
Fantastic.
Thank you, Trevor. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, audience.
Thank you.